welcome back to Season 5 of the FVC, qualifying for Round 5 of the French Grand Prix Sprint Weekend. Very, very rainy qualifying this week.
Yeah.
That's a lot of rain coming down. It's going to be very interesting seeing how this all hands up for the drivers.
Curious to see who comes out first. The Williams have been coming out pretty early this season.
Williams always come out very quickly. I see one of the Mercedes Eldorado there getting ready to come out of the garage. Down the pit lane, looks like everybody else, both the Mercedes cars actually getting ready to come out. They seem to be the first ones out of the box and into the wet.
Well, I was going to say, you probably don't want to be the first car out because you want a dry line, but it's not really going to matter here if it's coming down like this.
I don't think we're going to see a dry line. With how hard it's raining and only 17 minutes to dry out, it's not looking likely.
Yeah, I mean, if this stops now, maybe you'll get a little bit of a dry line going, but it doesn't look like it's going to stop anytime soon.
So, first cars coming out, we've got both the Mercedes, obviously, of Eldorado and D765. Also, the Ferrari of Jay Broughton, the Aston Martin of Scarlett, and a whole bunch of others all flooding out onto track. Must be drying up, because everyone's going out pretty quickly. Obviously, as time goes on, you're going to be getting more and more time at your laps, but you've all got to keep it together. Having a look at D70, or Eldorado, my bad, knocking over quite a couple of the bollards around the first sector.
Yeah, just clear for everybody else.
For everybody else, Asium will join the session for McLaren, my bad, nearly Aston Martin, and not this shit again. One of these days, this game will work perfectly fine for us.
Eh.
Today will probably not be that day, it might not be next week, or this season.
Or next season.
You never know. What I'm reading, it looks like it's going to be a dry race, so this rain will be passing, thankfully. Would make for an interesting race, however, with the sprint coming up, only 5 laps, and the chaos going to ensue there. I don't think wet weather would be any good for that.
So the sprint going to be dry?
For the sprint, I'm not sure. From what I'm seeing, the race itself will be dry. Whether that is referring to the sprint race or the main Grand Prix, I'm not sure.
That should be interesting either way.
Should be. Anyway, first car coming around the final corner to start a first flying lap. Eldorado and the Mercedes, D765 in the background, also coming around to start their first flying lap. No DRS for these, obviously far too wet, could be far too dangerous. However, teams can still give each other slipstreams, although that's entirely down to whether or not you want one.
I would think that some of the team cars might want to start working together if they want one of those cars to get a faster lap.
It would be a good idea. Obviously, there's a huge amount of straight lines on the circuit. You're going to get a lot of time from that slipstream, but at the same time, as one of the Ferraris you see going spinning off, having a slipstream behind another car, you're going to lose that grip. As Rosenquist retires in session, and Brady Pollock.
Oh, wow.
Going to jump over to one of the Aston Martins and possibly see what that is happen. Car stranded off the track.
Cars having to complete their outlaps.
Just out of the pits, not even sure what happened, but that's already 2 cars out. Brady Pollock usually qualifies up near the front as well. Incident getting cleared away, or at least the Red Bull has. Haas is still sitting stranded out there, possibly waiting for the AlphaTauri to get past, as it does. As we see Apex almost completely sideways going around turn 6.
But yeah, he's struggling for grip. He's got to get his tires warmed up if he wants any sort of grip here.
I think it's also just a little bit too wet for intermediates currently. I've seen another couple of cars, I think, on the full wet compounds.
Yeah. I mean, driving in the rain is its own experience. Obviously, with racing, you have to be smooth, as we see Scarlett set fastest lap session so far.
144.671 on the wet compounds. Just further proof my point, I think it's just not quite there for inters yet.
But driving in the rain is very much about being smooth and consistent, even more so than you normally are in the dry, because every little motion is going to affect your car negatively or positively, depending on what you're doing.
Indeed.
You're already struggling for grip as it is, as we can see there. So, as you see some more times getting put down.
Everyone's sort of filtering into that 144, 145. Azzy with a 144.4, again in the wet compounds. I'd be surprised if we see Apex stay out on track, try and go for a full lap.
Yeah, he is really struggling. That car's sideways.
He has stayed out, but very, very little grip out on track. Turn 15 is going to be an interesting one as well, because it's a very tight corner. Trying to navigate around that with that little grip, you're not going to have a good time getting the power down. Not to mention as well, turns 10, 11, the very fast, long right-handers. You're taking them at speed, and if you slip out, you're going to go into the wall.
Oh, speaking of which,
Oh, and
Apex
there
is
it
around.
goes right around. Ferrari having to take avoiding action to the left. And his cutting chicane is definitely going to be going back to the pit lane now. No hope on those tyres.
Yeah, those things are cooked.
Definitely so. Jay Broughton, 159.6, probably a spin on his left. So I'm seeing that he's saying he's probably got the worst setup ever for this. Looking to be specialising his setup for the race, more likely due to park friendly conditions. However, it does put into question, would you sacrifice your race a little bit to try and get a better qualifying position, or just tough it out here and do better in the race when it's dry?
I'd say do better in the race. I'm always more of a race pace versus qualifying pace type of guy. Especially in this league with the incidents we've seen happen, and the sprint race this weekend as well. I think this will be a great time for people to focus on race setups as we see a caution in sector 2 and 3.
2-3. One of the AlphaTauris has a problem coming out the chicane. Seems all the other cars safely navigated around.
I say caution out of force of habit.
It's fine. Gio Broughton off to 5th now, 145.326. Couple of drivers in the 144s, others in the 145s.
What being a NASCAR fan does to a motherfucker.
HP8 now in the other Ferrari, 144.425. Getting quite close up there at the top.
It is indeed.
Williams coming in. I think both the AlphaTauris are as well.
It's a weird pit lane entry.
It is, however, it does take you away from the racing line, so any incidents that occur around there should hopefully be avoided this time, but we've seen what happened in Portugal. It's also weird when it goes to that camera, because you think the car is just going straight off into the wall. Seems all the people are starting to get ready for their second run.
Yeah, it looks like Dorado was laying back to make sure he got some clean air here.
Most likely, although the Ferrari already had an invalidated lap. Most likely going to be going in. The winner of sprint obviously will be taking pole, and it does not count as a full race win, but it's still a lot of bragging rights if you can get up there in the 5 laps.
Yeah, from what I understand, it appears that some of the drivers are having issues with this wet weather as they don't have a setup for it. Their setups were set up for dry, and this sudden downpour that is formed over the track is really hampering their efforts for qualifying.
Last time we did wet qualifying, obviously the season was Singapore, only back in round 2. However, more chaos did ensue there. I think it's possibly a good idea for drivers to try and get more wet setups worked on, because you never know what's going to happen. Weather can be completely random. We see Scarlett going way off track there. That's what I mean. Turn 10, you've got to get it perfectly, and if you don't slow down enough, you're just going to go wide and wide and wide. Apex and the other Aston Martin spinning out of turn 7. Up at the other end of the track.
On board here with this Aston Martin as they round the final corner in just a moment here.
14-15 look to be navigated nicely. Doesn't spin up the wheels too much coming out the final corner, getting rid of the flying lap.
This is Scarlett currently our 3rd place qualifier as a car comes out of pit lane, nearly decks them.
Very much so. Going to be a couple running over those curves as well. Some of them, with how high they are, they can throw you around very easily.
Oh, those are going to be really, really slick in the wet.
Not to mention as well the lack of grip on them.
And it's still coming down, so this whole track's still going to be quite slippery.
Apex still on the other side of the track, must be having similar problems. I'm going to presume Apex is still in the intermediate tyre. I bet the chicane's going to be very scary as well. It's a hard braking zone, even in a regular dry condition. It's going to be even worse in the wet. You're still going to be getting up to similar speeds once you get those, once you get the tyre gripped up, but braking zone just keeps getting longer the wetter it gets.
You got to take that into account when you're driving, as we see Scarlett drive off the track here.
Yep. Further off the road again. I've been informed Apex are on wet, so not a problem with the grip, it's just keeps on spinning, not getting you to the wet weather yet.
See Scarlett rounding the final corner. This is Punked, turn 15.
Seems to get out of it nicely. 144.671 to beat in order to go up. 144.4 for pole. Scarlett does not improve enough up to 144.671.
I imagine her excursion off track did not help things.
I bet it didn't, but also just matters how much it lost.
So I think most cars are on their flying lap currently.
Yep. Number of them. Possibly seeing number of invalidated laps as well. Aston Martin of Apex coming around the final corner. Mustn't have had a great lap, but it is going to be the first flying lap, if I'm not mistaken. Coming over the line, up from 13th. Sets a... I've lost him. A 144.948 into 5th position. Our 5th car to go into the 144s currently. About 6 minutes left to qualifying. Weather seems to not be letting up any. One of the Ferraris has went round at turn 7. That will be Broughton. Broughton's not had the greatest of seasons so far. Although scoring points is definitely a nice thing to get, you want to be doing more.
Yeah. I mean, scoring points is only one half of the battle. Second half is getting wins, getting up there.
When you get hyped up to the point where you won FVC 2 and got the promotion up into Season 5, see one of the Aston Martins completely going round the chicane in the background, but it brings into question, what's the difference in skill levels between the main series and FVC 2? Because there are a lot of drivers going different between them.
That's something I'm very curious to see, because I mean, this is still... Oh, see Sign
spinning around in the background as well, I think. Might have caught it, actually. Looks like the dot's still going. Or he's completely over on the left.
He kept going.
Carving another of the 100-something layouts this track has. D765, a 144.299 for the Mercedes.
Really fast
Pit
lap
lane
there.
goes Broughton now.
But you were talking about FVC2. I think it's a very interesting thing to see the skill level. Because we might see some drivers that move up from there who are going to dominate in this league, and some who aren't. So we're going to drop right back down. So I'm very excited to see what becomes of that.
Indeed we have. We've got another car joining us now. 14th position, Mr. M. Rose, the Alfa Romeo. 4 minutes left. You're only going to have really one shot at qualifying. Apparently from what I'm seeing as well, the FVC2 Season 1 champion as well, only managing to get one pole position in the main series, compared to winning the outright season in the lower category. I think we see one of the Aston Martins again carving yet another layout. Sorry, oh, never mind. Mistake from Pixels there. On pole is the FVC2 Season 1 champion. So, 1st and 8th currently for our two lower series champions. I wonder how that'll play out in the race.
Should be interesting, but first we gotta get through that sprint race.
That's true. 3 minutes left qualifying, and then obviously the 5 hectic laps around the Paul Ricard circuit.
5-lap shootout, and everybody's going to be jostling for position, as it does matter, so should be very interesting to watch, as we have 3 minutes left in this session.
Trying to find somebody to head on board with. Harrison now getting very wobbly coming out of the chicane, missing a couple of rounds due to real-life pedal problems with his simulation setup, however, has finally come back after getting it fixed. It's like the three yellows, one of the Mercedes, come into bother. Probably slowing down, letting the Alfa Romeo get on by.
Not a bad idea.
Not so. Harrison M, 147.016, so I'm pretty sure that came up as the outlap he was doing. If it was the outlap, that's very, very close to a flying lap. Definitely shifting up early, keeping the revs down. One of the main enemies, if you spin up the rear wheels, you're just going to go round, there's no saving it. Looks like the rain has stopped, however it's not going to be soon enough. Only 1 minute 20 seconds left. Sector 2, yellow flag, that's up at the chicane, it's going to be right in front of Harrison M.
I gotta wonder if you're coming out, like, if you came out just a second ago, you saw the rain stopped, do you think someone's going to try to go for intermediates here?
I don't think it'll be just enough. There are still some spittles of rain coming down actually, however it's definitely nowhere near as harsh as it was. And really, if you wanted to make another lap, you would have needed to be out at about 20-30 seconds ago. This is the point of the lap where it's going to get really sketchy for Harrison M. All that dirty air in front, obviously the Aston Martin wibbling around.
Oof.
Both the Aston Martins, apparently, as well as OJ English, are on the intermediate tyres, though, from what I am seeing. We could see, possibly, with the rain easing up, a shock for change for pole position. Around the final corner is McLaren of Harrison M, so in the first flying lap. I think the only one currently of their session so far, up from a 147 to... 145.858. Stays 13th position, however, a number of cars starting their final flying laps now. I mean, look at it, I don't think anyone else is going to make it to the line. The Alfa Romeo is coming around the final corner, they've got too late. If they're trying to go for another lap. But instead, 143.224 on the intermediate side for the Alfa Romeo is second faster. It is definitely dry enough now. Could be a huge amount of shuffling up at the top.
Well, it depends who got on intermediates and who got around the track.
Depends. So, Simon Baker next across the line at 145.560. Trying to find who's up next. It's going to be OJ English and for the Williams team. Currently sitting in 7th at 144.809. Looks to be keeping it nice and steady so far. Just going to keep it that little bit longer. 2 more corners to go. That now make it 1.
Here they come out of the final corner.
Nice and solid in 7th. Currently moves up into 2nd at 143.5. Fly up as well. The other Alfa Romeo 144.1. As multiple cars spinning round one of the Aston Martins, I'm not quite sure which one that is. It is Apex, the car that we lost spinning round.
Yeah, he does not have himself a good qualifying session.
He is not having a great qualifying, and he's not had a great day. As he up next, across the line, takes second place, 143.289. Scarlett at 142.7.
Woo! Those bold choices of the intermediates absolutely paid off for these drivers.
Paid off near the end.
As we see, I was just about to say, D765 go to the 7th place, goes back up to 2nd.
To 2nd place. One more car still out there, that's Harrison M. Lost a front wing, not sure what happened there, but already had set their flying lap before this. And that is the first sprint qualifying. Or no, not sprint qualifying. First qualifying for the sprint of the season done. My bad. Scarlett takes pole for the sprint at a 1:42.731. Meanwhile, her teammate down all the way in 9th at a 1:44.948. Possible contact with the Mercedes. I wonder what's going to come of that. Qualifying is over a wet, very, very wet Paul Ricard circuit. Up next is the sprint, our 5-lap shootout, however. Qualifying results for that. Up in first, it is Scarlett 42, then D765, Mr. M Rose, Curly 7, and Azzy Ardell DTV take up the top 5. OG English, Blyapper, HP8, Apex, and Estrogen Impulse finish out the top 10. Moving down the way, we've got JL Rosen for Ferrari, Eldorado and Mercedes, Simon Baker in the other Williams, and Harrison M in the McLaren, all having not a great qualifying session. Brady Pollock and VNT Rosenquist take up 15th and 16th for failing to complete the qualifying session after crash. Welcome back to Season 5 of the FVC. Sprint race now, jump start for Harrison M, 29.06. As we get underway for our first sprint of Season 5, 5 laps around the Paul Ricard circuit, Scarlett on pole, D75 in second, getting through the first corner very comfortably. There was no formation lap, I wasn't told about this until very recently. Spin at the back for Scarlett as well, going far off the track, spinning around, gets going in a straight direction again. Looks like one of the Williams
one of those cars behind her.
Yep, one of the Williams as well got collected in that incident. OG English, DNF, DL Broughton and Apex I think also involved. Huge upset for the current pole or sprint pole sitter. However, these next 5 laps completely dictate starting positions for everything in the race. It's going to completely end up for Aston Martin. Alfa Romeo though looking very nice to take a decent amount of positions for the main event.
Yeah, I believe that was off the bumper of D765. Looks like he came back on track and just hit the rear of Scarlett's car.
Wasn't quite sure what happened myself. I, as always, was looking away when something happened. It's a common theme this series. I always miss what happens on track, even though I'm looking directly at it on spectator camera. But also, for next time, Pixels, I'd like a notification if we're doing formation or not. Didn't realise we weren't having one for the sprint, so I had no idea we were going immediately. But just like that, we're already 1/5 of the way through. Harrison M now, 3-second penalty. Multiple, that's 5 seconds already on top of their drive through for the jump start. D75, 1:38.034 for the Mercedes on the soft comfort tyres. It's already 1/5 of the way through. Rosenquist retires now again.
Out.
Harrison M, I think, is involved too. And they're going through the pit lane, not sure what happened to Rosenquist. Already lost 2 cars in just a lap. D75 going even faster, purple first sector, however what's happening behind. Wolf's going off track, and I think we're about to have a battle for possibly second position, as he looks to be gaining very quickly on Mr. M Rose. Coming down into the chicane, gets about 2/10, however not quite enough. OG English leaving the session due to apparently a game crash, I'm reading in the driver's channel.
Unfortunate.
Very much so. As he's now getting very close at Rose running wide. Ran the corner, has looked to the inside. Doesn't quite get it done in 11.
And you cannot lay back. Oh!
Going round M Rose. Again, I look down and something happens. I cannot script this anymore. I went to go check the driver's chat and I just... Something always happens as I look away.
That was almost like an Intimidator move from the old NASCAR games. Just went around on their own. D765, Azzy actually setting a 1:32.7. Azzy chasing down that sprint pole position. DRS now enabled for the final 3 laps of the race. It's weird to say, we've only been here for 2 already. The race gone by so quick. Wonder why.
It's almost like it's only 5 laps long, but that's the nature of these sprints. They are short, but they are going to be very chaotic for the rest of the season. Only one more after this, though. So we see Curly 7 taking the purple first sector.
Oh, there's a mangle of cars back there.
4-car battle there for that looks like 5th position. Running away at the front, D765 and Azzy are going to have their own battle, but I'm saying we should have a look at this. So we see one of the Mercedes going right wheel to wheel with one of the cars behind.
Looks like it's got a little spaced out in some places on track, but it's definitely not here.
Definitely not here as well. A couple of cars ahead. If they come into bother, I think I've seen one of the cars getting a bit sideways off the corner.
Haas goes wide.
Wyatt, however, seems to be keeping up. Brady, obviously a very quick driver, but so is Scarlett and Dorado. As is Impulse, actually. Impulse, our previous race winner here at the French Grand Prix. One of the Alfa Romeos is going around again in the background. That's M. Rose.
Great start for M. Rose, just kind of fell apart.
I think actually we're going to have an overtake for the lead. Addy now having a charge right around the outside into turn 1. Gets the move done before the corner.
Good move, but D765 is still there.
Indeed. Gaining into the corner, D765 as well. Probably going to have the advantage at the next DRS zone, which is a similar sort of length to the first one. All depends how much of a gap Azzy can pull out. Needs to be about 3/10 out at most now. D765 going to be coming, charging up. DRS is going to be wide open now. Time gap starting to fall. Looking to the outside. Azzy's defending the inside line. Into the chicane, they're going to be side by side. D765 still there somehow. Has to back out in the middle of the chicane.
Good job to keep it clean, but that is going to lose them a lot of time.
Very much so. That also brings up Curly and even Bly Yapper up near the front. Background, Scarlett getting ahead of Brady Pollock through the chicane.
Battles all over the place here.
Battles all over for a number of positions. Alfa Romeo Bly Yapper going around outside or inside of Curly. Sorry, Curly has to battle it back round. Goes off the track. Brake checks as well. Brake checks the Alfa Romeo. That doesn't seem to have given any wing damage.
Somehow.
Somehow, indeed. Azzy now pulling up a major gap up in front. The Alfa Romeo, though. Apex only the 3-second penalty for ignoring the flags. Alfa Romeo going the outside of Curly up into 3rd position. Final lap now. Scarlett ran into problems as well, down to 11th I just realised. Not sure what happened there. Was 5th though.
And so much going on, hard to keep up.
It's hard to keep up because everyone's trying their absolute hardest to get as many positions as they can. There's not much time left to make anything work.
Looks like Azzy's pulled out quite a good lead here, but it's still a battle here for 2nd place.
Still very much a battle for 2nd place, and you got to keep the rest of that lap together. Alfa Romeo, Bly Yapper around the outside, down the inside now.
Ooh.
Manages to get the car a little bit done. However, the AlphaTauri in the background pulling out the slipstream, trying to get that charge. They're going to be almost 3 wide by the looks of it heading into the corner. They're all back out of it. Mercedes having a look down the inside again.
On board here with the Mercedes.
Alfa running a little wide. Mercedes running very wide around the corner.
Trying to use all the track they can to get back up to him, but I don't think it's going to be a little... Ooh, as we see the AlphaTauri way off track trying to get by here.
Curly having to go the long way around with the Mercedes. Gonna have the inside line for the final corner. This is what it matters for. Who gets the better launch? It's gonna be the Mercedes D765 into 3rd position, securing the final podium spot. Indeed, Azzy wins. Bly Yapper 2nd, D765 3rd. Very little in it for 4th and for 6th. Or for 3rd and for 5th, sorry. That was tiny gaps for both the AlphaTauri cars, just losing out to the Mercedes duo though. Azzy takes the win. Bly Yapper for Alfa Romeo in 2nd and D765 in 3rd. AlphaTauri of Curly 7 takes 4th and the other Mercedes in 5th, with the 2nd AlphaTauri in 6th.
That was a very good sprint race. That was a lot quicker than I thought it was going to be.
Very, very. Welcome back to Season 5 of the FVC. We just had our first sprint race of the season. After a
Why is it
dry
raining?
sprint, it is now a very, very wet France. Full wet setup, it seems, from what I'm being told. That makes it going to be very interesting. A number of drivers had problems during our first qualifying session, which was also wet. Up in first position for the race, Azzy Ardale TTV takes pole position. Blyappa in second, I think the highest grid position so far for him this season. D765 takes third position in the Mercedes. And behind, Curly 7 after a very, very little gap. 0.064 separated the third and fourth position. Fifth and sixth also separated by 0.065. The other Mercedes and AlphaTauri of Eldorado and SG Impulse taking up those positions. Chinese Grand Prix winner HP8 Gamer takes up 7th position. Apex down in 8th, spinning off of the track during the formation lap. Brady Pollock 037, 9th for Haas, and 10th is taken up by Simon Baker 4067. 11th position goes to Scarlett, who also had their own problems during formation, but both the Aston Martins having huge issues in the wet. Gail Broughton, FVC2 winner in 12th position, takes Ferrari quite low on the grid. Harrison M, 2906 from McLaren, 13th and 14th goes to Mr. M Rose. 15th in the second Red Bull is VNT Rosenquist, Saskia Moll 16th for the McLaren, and OJ English takes 17th position. I'm pretty sure OJ qualified a lot higher than that, however, due to people readying up before OJ could get in, we couldn't set the lobby and grid in time. Unfortunate for the Williams team, but I guess we're just going to have to see how this race goes.
Indeed. Should be an interesting one.
Very much should be an interesting race indeed. We've seen drivers struggling during the wet qualifying. Both the Astons having a spin during formation around turn 5, 6 and 7, I believe. Seems like third place down having their own bit of a queue. First and second already completed the formation lap. Like extreme tyre warming is taking place. Makes you wonder who's going to get the better lead. All these drivers are going to take extensive time and measures getting their tyres up to temperature, whereas first and second might be at a disadvantage off the line. I'm not quite sure what we're seeing there. Cars going through each other, cars getting backed up on each other. I think we're all ghosted out now to get everything set up back on the grid, thankfully. That would have been nasty if we weren't.
A 4-car pileup.
Let's move back up to watch the front. Round 5, Season 5. 5th time the French Grand Prix has hosted a race. Very, very wet today. As for some reason it says OJ is now in first. Even though that Williams car is all the way down at the other end of the grid. I think the lobby has stopped functioning. Well. Oh, English has left the session. Red light's coming on. And they've stopped partway too. Okay, I'm gonna call the restart for this, I think.
Whoa!
That's 3 cars with a jump start penalty. Apex, who's apparently got up to first. Brady in 10th and Saskia in 16th. I'm not getting any response. A couple of cars both at the back, all having problems. Nobody's went out.
Yet. Full course yellow.
Full course indeed. Virtual safety car by the looks of it. I'm going to ask somebody, anybody that is in the race that can hear me, how broken is the lobby currently? Doesn't seem like anyone's complaining about anything, so I think we're going to be keeping going as we are. 5-second penalty for Rose with this very clearly with Brady Pollock. OJ English gets back into the session. I am entirely unsure what has happened.
Yeah, this has been a interesting start.
Interesting doesn't even begin to describe this. And I don't think I'd personally use interesting, I think I'd use broken.
That's an F1 game.
cars are all bunching up very closely, as is the nature of the virtual safety car. However, I'm not sure why it's still out. There's no debris on track, as far as I can find. Everyone's all very close together. And it's not like these go as soon as the end of the lap happens. VSC will not end, apparently. Never mind, there it just did. Apex immediately diving into pit lane. Very risky move there. Temporarily up into first, because the entrance to pit lane is shorter than the actual track. Rose also going into pit lane as well, possibly to serve all the penalties. We're back underway again for round 5 after a very confusing start. Number cars jumping to pit lane, big gap at the back, already a group front and rear it looks like. So, another incident. Brady Pollock seems to have spun it in the Haas coming out of turn 2. It must be monstrously wet out there currently. 3-second time penalty, like multiple warning Saskia Mall. Not even sure what happened there. Considering I didn't see any... I don't see how you can get a multiple warnings already by lap 2, but... This is the FVC.
By single file so far, it looks like.
Well, nobody's wanting to take that risk of trying to go past somebody, and I don't blame them. We see from
after what happened on that first lap.
Well, from the first lap, from the formation for qualifying, for everything really so far. That's... Not sure what's happening. Curly 7 makes a move on Scarlet. Scarlet getting back around. I think they're going side by side. Let's jump over to that. The only battle we have currently on track. Scarlet going around the long way to the final corner. Gets a better line, I think, through the next section. The Ferrari of HP8 Gamer also taking the same route that Scarlet did. Might not work for these 3 corners. We're going to have the inside for turn 15. Seems to have gotten a better run. Yellow in sector 3, one of the McLaren spins it around as he's hitting 147.071. We're not going to see any new lap records today, I don't think. Lap record certainly set in the Summer Series 2021 at a 131.925. Wolf Raven 24 being the driver that did it. Unless it gets a heat wave within the next couple of laps and evaporates every single bit of water, I don't think we're going to see any new lap record being set, but you never know. We've seen how broken this was at the start. It could completely turn around. But from what I've seen during commentary,
becomes dry.
From what I've seen during what was said in the commentary channel, looks like it's going to be full wet the entire way through.
Like I say, I'm glad I'm not out there. It looks very dreary.
Oh, it definitely looks dreary indeed. The drivers are going to be getting soaked as well as going to be miserable in the car. Scarlet running off the track again. Gonna have to keep that in, otherwise you're going to get another penalty for multiple warnings. Has a look for the Mercedes though, down the inside of turn number 11. Cutting the track a little bit, doesn't have the grip to keep it going. I think this battle here for 4th is about the best we're going to have on track. Top 3 are already running away a bit. Sector 3 yellow is one of the Red Bulls. That's going to be Rosenquist, going to be going round in the background. Azzy 146.6 now. Scarlet going to be having a look down the inside of Eldorado's Mercedes. Into turn 1, gets the move done very nicely. Just has to not understeer into the side of that car. Seems to be wheel buying though, coming around turn 2. We have to go a long way around, off track again. Hits the Ferrari, nearly gets sent around. Good will thrive. Ferrari going off track. HP8 can be fighting as hard as he possibly can. This is evolving 5, almost 6 cars now for this position.
Well, everybody's battling with each other and they're checking up and lining the other cars to get up to them.
And as long as this continues, it's allowing these top 3 to get away. However, by the looks of it, Impulse, our previous race winner, is getting away just that little bit from this group. It could quickly turn into a battle over 5th instead of over 4th. Saskia Wall, another 3 second from multiple warnings. Scarlett having a look for the long way round. Turn 10, doesn't have enough grip to make it work. Gets a little slidey on exit. Oh, I've nearly accidentally made a new channel in the Discord when trying to change them. My phone is small. I had a slight misclick there. As he's definitely pulling a large gap up the front, already nearly 3 seconds. However, 4.2 between 3rd and 4th as well. Ooh, Mercedes going very wide off the track. A couple of liberties I see being taken with track limits in terms of defending, attacking, and avoiding, definitely.
Yeah, this has been a interesting first start to these 5 laps here. A little more chaotic than I thought it might be.
It is definitely more so happening than what I thought when I seen the rain immediately behind them. One of the Ferraris just went round. That's going to be HPA, I think. HPA is actually out of the session.
Oh, wow.
Jump down, try and get a car, have a look. On board Apex. That's in the middle of the road, is it? I don't know. He's retired on track. That's against the ruling.
Huh.
Car's not actually went out. But I know for a fact that is against the rule book. If you're going to retire and not have a crash, then you need to go into pit lane first. I'm very confused why he'd do that. He wasn't in a bad position, he didn't have any damage.
Maybe she got tired, pulled over.
Well, maybe, but that's against the ruling. Another 3 second, another 5 second for Saskia for multiple warnings and corner cutting. It is not going her way today. In fact, there is another. In fact, that's a full safety car now coming out.
Oh, wow.
For what, though? I know we've seen one of the McLarens on the back straight having a spin, that would be Harrison M, but why are we having a full safety car? Or a spin? This game keeps on bringing me new things to get confused about.
It really does.
Speeding out a safety car, drive-through penalty for Saskia. That is, it's not going her day today. Seems like the French Grand Prix is a bit cursed this week or this year, or this season. I'll get it right eventually.
Eventually.
It may take me a couple of seasons, but I'll get it right at some point. This is a very questionable lobby. That's going to harm Azzy, though, quite a lot.
Pixels, this lobby is questionable.
Yeah, I would tend to agree. It's very questionable. For once, not driving standards, but in terms of functionality. I never thought I'd say this, but for once I think a Forza game actually is exceeding in how it's actually able to hold up compared to F1. Brady Pollock speeding under safety car, another drive-through penalty for the Haas. That's 2 drive-throughs in the same race. First for a jump start, after a very broken start, that is. I'm just wondering what this is going to do up at the front, as he had a big 4-second lead. That's going to come crumbling right down. I'd be concerned as well about safety car spacing. Scarlett's getting very close to the back of Eldorado. I know they're still racing to get caught up, but you got to leave a little bit of room just in case you need to take that avoiding action.
It is true.
Finally getting caught up to the safety car now. There's a whole bunch of cars left to get caught up, however, shouldn't be too much longer.
Yeah, hopefully we can get back racing here.
I think the Alfa Romeo of Rose is going to be the last one possibly allowed to get back up, depending on if the Williams of Simon Baker can get up there, actually. I don't think the McLarens will be allowed to get up, looking how far off the back they are, 15th and 16th. They're almost side by side up at the front. I see what you're saying. That's alright.
Yeah, something came up, unfortunately.
Oh, that's no problem. Thank you for joining me, at least, for the sprint.
Well,
and
I wish
the
I could be here longer and give some more insightful commentary. Just wasn't on my game today. Oh well. Anyways, wish all competitors luck and good luck out there at the very wet French Grand Prix.
Yep. Thank you for joining me, and well,
yep. Good luck.
Have a good rest of your day.
You too.
Oh God, excuse me. Now just me left for commentary. Really not quite sure what's going to be going on for the rest of this. Hopefully you shouldn't be under safety car for too much longer. Absolutely hammering it down with rain. I need to quickly bring this up. Okay, nothing new is happening over there. Ah, hello Pixels.
Hello.
Welcome to commentary.
Is that a quick commentator pit stop?
Yep. Out with one and in with another. But regardless, what's your take so far on this very questionable race?
Interesting. Broken as one word.
Very interesting. Broken indeed. I'm not sure what happened off the start. I was very tempted to call the restart, however, nobody seemed to be complaining enough, so
yeah,
we just took it as it is.
I think English broke it by his connection issues. But after he left and came back, it seems to be okay.
I mean, we were just sitting there on the grid until English left, then we heard the lights go for 2. We're also not going this lap. I didn't see the thing come up, so we're going to have the McLaren of Saskia get caught up, then I think we're probably going to be going. The McLaren of House and M now retiring on track. I was on the other end of the track from the cars, but my safety car in this lap. We are going to be going green this time.
Yeah, let me just check my volume first.
Quick question, do you need me to keep the screen share and Discord up, or can you see through spectator cam?
Yeah, okay, my volume's okay.
Hello?
Hello.
Do you need me to keep the Discord screen share up, or are you able to look in through spectator cam?
Oh, sorry, no, I've got the stream up, so it's okay.
Ah, okay, so I can just do this. There we
yes.
go. Getting underway again, it looks like Azzy takes the restart halfway down the straight. Trying to build as much of that gap back up as possible. We're back to green flag racing. Lap 9 of 27, spending a decent amount of time, but we're already 1/3 of the way through the race. Azzy, I expect to...
A decent start?
Yeah, I expect Azzy to be able to run away from the front of the pack a little bit, so I'm just going to preemptively jump back. English disconnecting and reconnecting again.
I think Scarlet's controller has disconnected on the restart.
That is very unfortunate. See the AlphaTauri of Impulse going a bit off the road. I think a couple of cars are going to be doing that though. Emrose and Rosenquist in the back of the pack, getting past each other. Mercedes looks to be catching up on Impulse here. Dorado getting very close to the back.
I think of things to look at and commentate on. I've not done commentary since Season 3 Canada. Yes, just the point that Apex just reminded me, because I'm also listening to their stream. Azzy has 5 seconds, so that is something she needs to be aware of.
Oh yes, the carryover 5-second penalty indeed.
Yeah, from Spain.
Very much so. That's also another thing I meant to bring up, but just forgot about. Adorate is not present today, so will not be serving his band. That will carry over to the next race that he attends, or is available for.
Which hopefully will be next week, at whatever track is next week.
I don't know. Sasuke will another 3-second penalty. Scarlet pulling out from the back of the Mercedes. Getting by before turn 1. Seems to be a much quieter, much more relaxed race. Other Aston Martin of Apex, I think, is heading into pit lane. Or no, not into pit lane, I don't know what I'm talking about there. Just had a bad run through the first few corners. I was looking at the complete wrong section. I'm just
I think that's
not...
Gordon doing a drive through, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm not on top of it today because there's just not anything happening.
No, it's quite a... There's a lot happening, but also nothing happening.
As I see one of the Ferraris, the Ferrari I brought in, running through the DRS or the 100-meter boards, absolutely annihilating it.
Next week is
Another
Austria, just found out.
Austria next week, Hopefully it'll be a better main race than this. Our sprint was very good up at the front, very chaotic sprint race, but
It was.
it seemed to have sucked all the energy out of the main event.
Yeah, I think the weather didn't help either.
Yeah, it doesn't help. It's already a very low downforce track, and, you know, it doesn't help when it's raining because you don't have the DRS to counteract the more downforce that people put on.
And I'll just cut the corner there, but...
All cars just taking up single file at this point. Personally, I don't blame them. It's going to be quite risky going for an overtake anywhere offline.
Nothing to commentate on, is there?
There's really not. Cars are close to each other, but in this weather conditions, being close to each other isn't really enough. See one of the Ferraris running off the track again. Broughton.
Those marshals look like they're on a nice day.
I bet they're having a wonderful day, getting absolutely drowned. Broughton might be actually having a look to make a move on Curly. Is catching up. I see English teleporting forwards and backwards, courtesy of the hotspot Wi-Fi that he is on today. Last time we had teleporting cars was Singapore. Broughton pulling up to the left-hand side of the track. English gaining ever so much on that Ferrari. Down straight, doesn't seem to be enough though. If I was Broughton right now, I'd be terrified of having that that Williams just teleport into you in the braking zone and sending you absolutely flying. I don't know if that's a thing on this game, but I've experienced it on other racing games, so it would just be that little nagging fear in the back of my mind.
Thinking back to Season 4 VQ Racer, definitely is possible.
As we see it just teleporting on and off screen, backwards, forward, side to side,
Oh, there it goes.
it must be terrifying seeing that in your mirror. To be fair, I can't say much. I was like that in Global F4 on Tuesday this week. Apparently my connection was quite bad. As you see there, the flowing corners of 12, 13, 14 make it really obvious just how badly he's lagging. Scarlett's having a look
stream
on
today, so I apologise if I'm behind anything.
It's fine. I have it set to be as low latency as possible, but it's never going to be as instant, so no worries about it.
How's this affecting the championship at the moment? We've got the leader in 9th.
Leader in 9th, you're going to have a look at the championship stuff. If I do it, it'll bring up the pause menu. Scarlett now having a look actually around the outside. There's a bit of an off-track overtake against the AlphaTauri of Impulse. I said Mercedes. They're going to be side by side though into the chicane. Never mind, no they're not. I jump on board and they're actually a car length behind each other. Well, not a car length, but a decent amount. All going to be coming down who get the better launch off the chicane. And it's neither of them. They've got equal launches coming down to turn 10. Nothing's going to happen at that corner. You're going to be a madman if you're trying to make anything happen there. Broughton gets past Curly for 7th position. Scarlett having a look down the inside actually for turn 11. Makes it work. The shorter line definitely a lot better in the wet. Up into 4th position.
You do championship maths, I think. As they can put out 5 seconds over D numbers, she would take the championship lead.
As he has just went into pit lane though.
Maybe getting some more wets. I don't think it'd be dry enough for winters.
Having a look at his wet compound tyres on the Red Bull. Promotes D765 up into 1st, Bly up a 2nd, Scarlett into 3rd. Azzy will go all the way down into possibly right at the back.
Out of the points, she's going to be.
In 12th position, it's going to be 13th actually. All the way down in 13th behind her teammate.
Is Brady going to get to her?
Nope, Brady is not there. Already at the pits.
Oh, okay.
Looking at it, there is a big train really for 4th position, or 3rd position even. Azzy's going to have to make short work of that traffic or hope that they all get out of the way. Otherwise, that's a big loss for her. That's a lot of cars have to fight through that have not done their pit.
So, championship lead after this would still be OJ English. Increasing that championship lead as well, overtaking Curly.
Curly indeed. OJ currently in 7th.
Red Bulls have just swapped, that makes sense.
Indeed they have. Not really surprised, Azzy definitely being the quicker driver. Impulse nearly dropping it out of turn 11. Very sideways.
That was close.
I'm surprised we haven't seen more cars go around at that corner. I probably shouldn't say that. You know, we might get the next car to go around it, which will be Brady to drop it, but
hopefully not.
No, it looks like he's navigated it safely.
Next is Sass. Please, Sass, don't.
Oh, Sass has already got that many penalties. We see now a bunch of cars going to pit lane. Scarlett, Impulse, Dorado, Broughton all in. OJ as well in. There's a bit of a contact actually speeding in pit lane for OJ. That's a huge amount of cars in. That's going to be very advantageous already for Azzy, who was on the back of that train.
So Azzy should go
as I
through.
try and find my way up to the cars that are still in the lead. That puts Rose into the lead. Apex in 2nd. Rose does have that penalty, so it's provisionally Apex leading. Simon Baker into 3rd. Azzy already taking her stop. Not that far behind them in 4th.
Hasn't gained that much over D numbers though.
Not that much, but both of them are taking their stops now. Azzy, I think, is also the faster driver of the two, being able to pull away. Might become the first repeat winner of this season.
We had repeat polls? Yeah, we had 2 Brady polls.
Yep, we've had repeat pole sitter, but never a repeat winner. One thing I thought up for this race, just because there's nothing really going on, If we had another unique winner this season, it would be the 5th winner of Season 5 at the 5th round for the 5th time that France has hosted a race.
Nice. Can we think of any more 5s?
Well, not that I could think of. Well, it's the 15th of December.
It is.
15th of
I'm thinking
December, there's
definitely.
15 corners at the track.
We're in the 5th year of FV.
Indeed, indeed. So, although, as it stands, I don't think we're going to be getting that 5th new winner, but you never know, anything could happen. M Rose into the pits, as is Salmon Baker. I think Apex has stayed out, he indeed has. Apex, for I think the first time this season, will lead the race.
I think that's it. Surprisingly. Being the
Azzy,
reigning champion.
though, Azzy definitely charging, taking the fastest lap at 146.1. Which is
Yeah, I don't
ironically
think
around
Max
15
can last the race.
seconds, 14-15 seconds slower than a lap record.
I wonder why.
Well, it's not like it's raining or anything, but
No, it's fine.
what
Just
is it with this round and there being 5s and 15s everywhere? I've just realised.
was that another 15 that you said?
Yes. Lap
That's-
record,
Oh,
currently
we're in lap 15 as well.
15. It is. What the hell is going on here? This has turned into, or turned from a race into a commentary about 5 and 15.
Who's in the... So we've got Scarlet in 5th.
It's
That's in
also,
15th.
there's only 15 cars remaining as well. We're really overdoing this at this point. But there's nothing else for me to take a look at. Not really a battle for 5th. Impulse actually has dropped out of the chicane. From 6th down into 8th. Gets it back. Might lose another position down through turn 10.
I realised I didn't see that at all. Couldn't figure out which car Impulse was.
One off to the left is all I know. Did drop it out of the chicane. Didn't hit the wall. So, still going at least. Apex staying out again. He still has a pit to do and a whole bunch of cars behind him. As he now setting the first 145 of the race.
Another 5.
Oh, one of the cars spun out. Was brought in 5th? Or was he not?
Yeah, 5th is... No, 6th.
Okay, I was about to say, this is getting ridiculous at this point. But no, out of 6th place was brought down into 10th.
I think Glitch is 15. I think we should stop at this point.
Possibly. Possibly should. We're going to see a overtake for the lead now. Azzy pulling out to the left, just out of the slipstream a little too early. Might get a ton though, heading into the chicane. Never mind, just a bit too far back, pulled out of the slipstream too early. Of course, no DRS to help. Obviously, we're looking at the torrential conditions.
He wants to get this done fast because the numbers is catching again.
The numbers will be catching. However, these two past teammates, maybe, just maybe, Apex will be kind.
It looked like he's going to give it.
Apex outside of the corner. They actually touch their banging wheels. Azzy up to the lead though. Inside for turn 11. I'd say that'll force Apex to head into pit lane now. Those tyres have probably served their lifespan already.
I believe that was
And,
tactics for Scarlet here in their stream.
Possibly Apex heading into pit lane now. Azzy back into the lead. Has over 5 seconds to D765, I think. No, only 3.3. 10 laps left to get another 1.7 seconds.
Shouldn't be too difficult, providing no safety cars.
Well, we've seen that the safety car just comes out whenever it feels like, so... Scarlet 42, 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings.
So Apex can get the points. No, he's into 10th.
Apex is in 10th currently.
Brady's had a bit of a surprising race.
As we just see OJ completely lagging. There's a bit of a battle going on for 6th currently, 3 cars. I think Eldorado might be having a look, never mind. Just has to give it up. Actually, Dorado does run into the back of the AlphaTauri of Impulse. Thankfully, no damage and no problems can occur from that.
Apex almost made him use the chicane on Gordon. Didn't quite work.
Almost. But almost is just not good enough for these. I wonder how many more laps it'll take for Saskia to start getting lapped. We see that, ow, oh! Dorado had a look around the outside, didn't quite work, had the Alfa Romeo drive into the side of him. He's down into 8th now.
Everybody's probably saving him there from going all the way around.
Possibly did. Broughton and Apex are going to be having a nice little battle here. Apex has got the better line for turn 14, Broughton for turn 15. It'll be side by side, basically equal launch. Apex does have a better line after turn 1 though. It all depends who breaks later. They both equal. Apex does cut the corner though to keep alongside. Hitting into each other. One of them might go around very shortly. Thankfully, neither of them do. Apex has to settle for 10th after that. Broughton actually looks like he got a half spin. Apex down the inside. Doesn't quite make it work.
Small contact, was it?
Small contact, definitely, heading through turn 6 and 7. Apex will have the slipstream down into the chicane. I'd be very surprised if he does make a move though into here or into turn 10. Ooh, bit of a slide coming out of the chicane. Any progress he just gained on Broughton has immediately been lost because of that.
Brady wants to pass Curly.
Yep, I see in the background, Brady is ahead of Curly now. Not been the greatest race in the world for Curly. However, there's a number. You did start. They were both the AlphaTauri's were very up near the top. I think in 4th and 6th. You know, less than a 10th off the Mercedes in 3rd and 5th. Impulse is still up there. Curly's dropped down to the other end of the grid. Impulse though is holding up a bit of a train by the looks of it. Apex might go for a very ambitious dive into turn 1. Pulls alongside the Ferrari. We'll get side by side to turn 1 and 2. Apex gets ahead, surprisingly running off the track though. Broughton's going to get the place back. Or doesn't, they're actually banging wheels coming now into turn 3. Apex does have the better line, somehow holds it around the outside, and Apex gets ahead into 9th. However, all depends who's going to get the better run out of the corner. Broughton running off road a bit. Broughton's going to have a much faster car down the straight. Going to pull out to the outside for the chicane, as I've hit the wrong button. Apex does defend it well for the first part. Broughton getting just alongside, out of the chicane. Filters back in for the rear wing just a little bit. Going now down side by side. They're going to be too wide into turn 10.
Like a bit of contact there on the end exit.
Oh, Apex has gone round. The Aston Martin spins it trying to go around the outside of turn 10. Those tires are going to be very, very hot now. That's completely the wrong way around. Azzy, 1:45.724, fastest lap. That is that battle well and truly over now.
It has not been a good day for Aston. Well, it's been okay for Scarlett.
It's been going okay for Scarlett. Another car going round. That will be Impulse, possibly getting pushed around by Rose, I think, round the final corner. That's going to be even more detrimental for Impulse, having to wait a little bit for a couple of cars to come by. Apex into pit lane, possibly for another set of tyres.
That is, both AlphaTauri's now gone down.
Both the AlphaTauris indeed now, 11th and 12th from 4th and 6th.
Brady is back into the points though.
Indeed. Up at the top, as a 5.7 second gap to D765, it looks like we're going to be having a first repeat winner unless something happens, which it is entirely possible, it's unlikely, but we do have a number of cars battling quite closely. Half second separates second and third, and there is that big 4-car train a bit further down the field.
Apex has pitted for the Inters, however, it did not replace his wing, which he needed.
Interesting. Sasuke Mall, another 10-second time penalty for corner cutting. It has not been Sass's day one single bit.
Sass, please don't get disqualified, and she is about to get lapped.
Indeed, coming round turn 14 into 15, Azzy is gaining pretty quickly onto Sass. If something happens here, it could completely upset for the lead. Sasuke running off the track, letting the Red Bull by. That's possibly the safest way to do that.
If we had team radio, we would have just heard Sass say, I don't want to be blue flagged. Not sure that's how that works, but...
Well, nobody wishes to be blue flagged, but sometimes it just happens. And in this situation, it's not really gone that well.
Rosenquist into the pits, or something.
Into pit lane for Rosenquist. They have just put an interesting message into the driver's channel, which makes me wonder, intermediate tyres for the second Red Bull.
Sass is also pitting for Inters this lap.
Interesting. We might be at that changeover point, but I'm not that certain personally. It's still raining quite heavily.
I don't think there's enough laps left to make it the time for those who don't pit.
You never know.
Unless we get safety
It
car.
depends if everybody else decides to go in, and because you've already made it that decision, you're going to get a bit of an advantage over them. But that also depends if it is dry enough for those tyres to work.
Sass now in. She made it without a pit thing. It's speed pit. What we're
Pit
saying?
limiter. Is that what you're looking for, a pit limiter?
Nope. Speed without the penalty for speeding in the pit lane. That's what I was trying to say.
I see. Well, she might only be a very few off, or only a few penalties left. One of the Alpha Towers has gone around at the final corner. That'll be Impulse again, I think.
Yeah, that's Impulse.
Now at turn 15, it's went completely awry. However, overtake, I think, for 9th edition. Brady moves on to the 9th ahead of the Williams of Sam and Baker. Sam and they're looking away round the Haas. Don't think he's going to get it unless he's that much quicker down the straight. Also to note, Sasuke is right in the middle of this battle. 2 cars ahead of D765 and Blyapper did just get by. There's still Broughton, Sam, no, not that group, the other Mercedes and Alfa Romeo, Mr. Ambrose and Eldorado, my bad. They're very close together, they're both the same teams. You can't really blame me, I'm still getting used to this. Sasuke Mall, another 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. As we see Salmon now going down the inside or the outside for the chicane. They're going to be side by side again into turn 10. We've seen how this played out last time.
Apex goes around.
Yep, Salmon decides to get into the rear of the, or into the slipstream. Sasuke taking avoiding action right off the road, nearly darting into the wall from some angles, you'd think.
Okay.
It does disadvantage
Unfortunately,
Sam, and a
gonna
bit
get
of
annihilated.
second worth of gap there. I think everything is just sort of spreading out a little bit.
Apex sort of just drove forwards into a wall. That was strange.
I did not see that, so...
It's not the closest at all, other than the other pair of these cars.
These two pairs, the Mercedes and Alpha, they're both sort of similar-ish gaps. I'm just watching this one because it's for the podium spots.
Yeah.
However, if I see the other two getting very close to each other, I will jump over to them.
I think the stats here. Is this D number's second podium? I'll go and have a look.
Yeah, you're going to have to have a look. One of the Aston Martins that's going to be Apex has binned it out of the final corner. That is going to bring out the safety car, which makes me think that car, he has indeed lost his front wing. Lap 22 of 27, the full safety car has come out. Taskimo disqualified from the session for receiving multiple penalties. It's went from bad to worse for the the McLaren team. To be fair, it's not went the best for half of the Aston team currently, but it's about to get even worse for Red Bull. Hang on. Weren't we just on lap 22 when the safety car came? Oh wait, I was watching the car at the back, that's why. It's lap 24 of 27, actually.
So we might have a one-lap shootout.
Indeed, or depending on how long it takes for everyone to catch up, it might finish under the safety car, which would mean it will be another new winner in this season. Azzy's got her work cut out for her if it does go to green flag.
Okay, so D numbers has had 4 podiums so far.
4 podiums so far, but not a win. This could be the first win that he gets, but also Blyappa is right there as well, also free from penalties. Has been keeping up with that Alfa or the Mercedes.
Violet is saying she thinks she's on the wrong tyres.
That would be Scarlet, are you saying?
Yeah, Scarlet, so.
Scarlet on the wets. There's a couple of cars on the inters. This could play out very, very interesting over the final few laps. Apex heading into pit lane again. Obviously this time for the broken wing.
The wing. Yeah.
Yep. Wonder if he takes a new set of tyres along with them.
Yeah, he's going for the inters.
Yep, new set of intermediate tyres to finish out the rest of the race.
Something has just cut through that mechanic's leg.
That's a bit of a teleport out of pit lane there. Apparently, I know Scarlet also heading into pit lane. Up at the front, they're all staying out. This started off very broken, got a bit boring, but now could get very exciting at the end.
3 laps to go. I'm not sure Rosenquist and Apex are going to be able to get to the back.
Well, Apex definitely not. I think we'll see the Alpha Tauris get up, as well as the Aston Martin of Scarlet. Rosenquist maybe, depending on if they go out another lap. But if I was in control of the safety car right now, I'd say all the cars that are going to catch up are already here.
Let's just say a green flag. Or
I
someone just disappeared.
wouldn't be surprised. Let's see.
Everything English has just vanished.
Yep,
Oh, there's
safety car in this lap. Going to be going green flag. Rosengoose and Apex will not be anywhere near the back of this. Lap 26 and 27. 2 laps for Azzy to pull out 5 seconds. But that's not taking into the factor that anything behind could happen. Who's your money on, Pixels?
I think it's got to be Dino Zablar. 5 seconds and 2 laps is an ask.
But again, D765 as well as Blah, they could spin, and 4th and 5th also have their own respective penalties. Round turn 15, as he goes out of the final corner by the looks of it. We're back to green flag again. I don't think that caught out D765 just enough. By the looks of it, the Alfa Romeo Fly Yapper is very, very far back already, over a second gap. However, D765 are already keeping within half a second. Alpha Tauri's at the back swapping positions.
Scarlett's saying she has made the wrong choice.
So it's still too wet for intermediates then, I'm presuming.
That would be my take on that.
Well.
Apex gone again.
Yep. Apex, if he continues up with these mistakes, it might cause an interference on the last lap. By the looks of it, it might be, as it stands, a Mercedes 1-3 for this race.
Which would... I don't know what that would do for the standings, actually.
Not sure what it would do myself, but it would definitely benefit that team a lot.
Let me have a look. They're currently 8th, so...
Definitely do a huge world of wonder for that team, but they got to keep it for one more lap. Only 1.3 seconds for Azzy. I don't think she's going to do it. She has another huge batch of seconds. Well, it sets a 1:45.091 though. I think Dorado's actually encountered issues. The back has been overtaken by Broughton. Could see Broughton on the podium for the first time this season as well.
This finish in order could look like anything other than maybe 13th and 14th.
I think 13th and 14th are the only confirmed finishing places so far. Even as far down as 12th you don't know due to penalties all around the grid. This could definitely get shaken up.
At this point in time, it looks like Azzy would drop to 5th, potentially 6th.
The 5th, I think it would be maybe on the fringes of a 6th. It depends how much more she pulls out though. Sector 1 yellow for one of the Red Bulls going around in 13th. That's not going to affect the rest of this race. Only half a lap left to go. All cars just a little bit spaced out. However, 2 cars going side by side in the background. That is going to be Brady Polk getting past the Mercedes of Eldorado.
Apex is back in the pits again for some reason.
Not quite sure. Rose was 3-second penalty for multiple warnings. Not going to be affecting anything though. As it stands, Azzy will take the flag, but she will not win due to a 5-second carryover penalty from a previous round.
Apex is on the softs.
Oh no. Azzy will cross the line in first, but that 5-second penalty will promote D765 to win for the first time in the FVC main series. Blyappa takes second, and it will be Broughton in fourth, I think, maybe? I think Azzy, with that carryover, will just stay on the podium.
I think so. Brady up to 5th. That's a good recovery.
Brady, indeed. Broughton in fourth, Brady 5th, Eldorado in 6th.
Rose equals his best
Rose
finish
in
in 7th.
7th, equaling best result. OG English, after not driving, I think, for most of the race, is in 8th. Impulse in 9th, previous race winner. Not as good a result as he was hoping for. Final points playing position goes to the Williams of Sam and Baker. Curly takes 11th, Scarlett in 12th, actually crashing at the end of the race. Just over the line, I think. Rosen was 13th, and Apex on the soft tyre will come home in 14th. 15th and 16th go to House and M and HP Gamer, both failing to finish the race. And our first disqualification of the season, Saskia Moll in 17th.
Will Apex make the line?
I guess we'll see.
Confirmation from Scarlet as he is third.
As he is third after that carryover penalty. So D765, a 5th unique winner for the 5th round running.
That was a drift.
That's a bit more than a drift we've just seen.
I've not seen this yet. Oh, that was more than a drift.
You'll have to be careful, there's a whole bunch of cars going around.
Doing some celebratory donuts. Oh.
Celebratory donuts for 14th position. It's a bit like you. Oh, hits into the
least
side
I
of
was
the Red
11th.
Bull, however, not going to matter. Race is already over. 14th for our defending champion, and no points at all for the Aston Martin team. Absolutely detonates into the wall. Does not break the wheel off, though. Oh, that's a heavy impact from behind. Driver of the day, provisionally for in-game, goes to Mr. M. Rose. However, results will be up soon on the Formula Companion app. Make sure to vote for who you think deserves Driver of the Day. Looking at our interview queue, we've got a decent amount of people already waiting. We're going to do our results rundown first. And indeed, it seems the longest point streak has actually ended after that 14th position from Apex. Something for you to say in the staff room there, Pixels, just for you.
Yes, I've just seen this. I will be saying something in admin.
Number of stewards inquiries as well from that race, not surprising. However, race results, provisionally as they stand, Azzy did take the flag. D765 up in position after, and Blyappa in third for Alfa Romeo. Fourth goes to Broughton, fifth for Brady Pollock, Eldorado in sixth, seventh goes to Mr. M. Rose, eighth to OJ English, ninth to Estrogen Impulse, and 10th to Simon Baker. 11th heads over to Curly, 12th for Scarlett, 13th for Rosenquist, and 14th are ending the longest point streak goes to Apex. Harrison M did not finish, nor did HP Gamer, they take 15th and 16th provisionally. Saskia Moll disqualified in 17th.